Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day before starting the video. Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. To put it mildly, The Bold and the Beautiful will be bringing Steffy back to a shock. The revelation that her would-be killer and stepdaughter Luna is still alive and kicking. But she may have a new ally in her fight to draw a line in the sand between her family and the maniac, frequent stepsister Hope. Since Liam's brush with death inspired the twosome to call a truce, Steffy and Hope aren't likely to resume hurling barbs at one another, and that's just fine by Annika Noelle. I personally like it when we don't pit women against each other, she tells Soaps.com. There's a moment, there's a time and a place for that. But I genuinely enjoy Hope and Steffy's relationship when they're getting along. I think it's refreshing, she adds, and it also could open them up for more interesting story and leave them potentially joining forces. Noelle acknowledges that the road ahead won't necessarily be bump-free. In fact, smooth sailing is all but out of the question, especially given the history at play. There's always going to be the underlying rivalry. They're always going to be compared to each other. But it opens up more potential twists and turns if they aren't always at each other's throats. That could open some new doors. We don't need the catfight trope all the time, she adds. I mean, listen, do I want a food fight at some point on the show as well? Absolutely. But I do enjoy it when maybe the women are on the same team for once and holding the men accountable. When it comes to The Bold and the Beautiful, no rivalry has shaped the modern era quite like that of Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and Hope Logan, Annika Noelle. Decades of feuds, stolen kisses, betrayals, and shared heartbreak have intertwined their fates so tightly that it's almost impossible to imagine one without the other. And yet, for the past several weeks, the CBS daytime juggernaut has offered fans a unique landscape. Hope standing in her own spotlight, without Steffy shadowing her every move. From her complicated relationship with Thomas Forrester to her surprising bond with Finn, Hope has been navigating a version of Los Angeles that feels oddly lighter without Steffy's presence. But all of that is about to change. In an exclusive chat, Annika Noelle teases what lies ahead as Steffy prepares for her jaw-dropping homecoming, a return that promises to upend not only Hope's personal life, but also the delicate balance of power at Forrester Creations. It's not going to be smooth sailing, Noelle says with a laugh, her eyes sparkling with the kind of mischievous warning soap fans know all too well. Whenever Hope thinks she's finally found her footing, Steffy comes back and the ground shifts beneath her feet. This time will be no different. In fact, I'd say it's going to be messier than ever. On screen, Hope has been balancing her designs at Forrester Creations, her fractured relationship with Thomas, and the lingering whispers about her growing closeness with Finn. Though nothing outright scandalous has occurred between them, the electricity in their interactions hasn't gone unnoticed by viewers. Hope and Finn's scenes have been fascinating, says Noelle. They're both people who've been wounded, they're both trying to do the right thing, and they both have families pulling them in opposite directions. I think fans are intrigued by the what-if factor. What if these two found solace in each other? That question, of course, becomes infinitely thornier once Steffy sets foot back in Los Angeles. Hope knows Steffy is fiercely territorial, Noelle admits. It doesn't matter if it's about Liam, about Finn, or even about fashion lines. Steffy does not like to share. And yet, Hope has grown into someone who doesn't back down as easily as she once did. That's where the tension really lies. Two strong women, both determined to stake their claim. Noelle has spent the past several years carving out Hope's evolution from sweet idealist to complex woman with flaws, desires, and shadows of her own. When I first stepped into this role, Hope was very much the moral compass, she reflects. She was almost too perfect. She wanted peace. She wanted unity. She wanted everyone to get along. But in daytime drama, perfection doesn't always translate to interest. I think the writers realized Hope needed edges, and I'm so grateful they gave her space to grow. That growth has been evident in her romantic choices. The once devoted Liam-Steffy or Hope triangle has splintered, with Liam adrift, Steffy focusing on her family, and Hope experimenting with riskier decisions. The Thomas storyline was controversial, no doubt, Noelle says candidly. But I think it was important. It showed that Hope wasn't just going to play the victim anymore. She was going to own her agency, even if it meant making mistakes. And yet, as she points out, that agency comes with consequences. Hope is very aware that her actions ripple outward. With Steffy returning, those ripples could turn into waves that crash over everything. So what can fans expect when Steffy walks back into the Forrester mansion and office? According to Noelle, brace yourself. There's a scene early on where Steffy makes her presence felt in the most unmistakable way. She teases. Hope is caught completely off guard. It's bold, it's dramatic, and it's going to ignite a lot of conversations. While she's careful not to spoil specifics, Noelle hints that the dynamic between Hope and Steffy will reach new levels of complexity. It's not just about men anymore, she stresses. It's about identity. It's about who gets to lead, who gets to represent the Forrester legacy, and whose voice carries more weight. That's a really powerful shift, because it means their conflict isn't just personal, it's professional, it's cultural, it's legacy-driven. Fans should expect alliances to shift in unpredictable ways. I'll just say this, Noelle teases. Not everyone is going to side with who you think they will. To understand why this return is such a powder keg, one must look at the history. Since the early 2010s, Steffy and Hope have been locked in a cycle of rivalry, most often centered around Liam. From weddings interrupted on cliffsides to custody battles and design line wars, the women have clashed in ways both romantic and ruthless. People always ask me, are Hope and Steffy enemies? Noelle shares. I don't think of them as enemies. They're rivals, yes. But there's also this strange respect that comes from knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses so intimately. Hope may be frustrated by Steffy, but she also admires her confidence. And I think Steffy, in her own way, recognizes that Hope has a kind of quiet resilience that can't be underestimated. That duality, loathing and respect, is what keeps the storyline fresh. You don't tune in just to see them fight, Noelle explains. You tune in because you know every look, every line, every shift of body language carries a history that goes back years. There's depth there, and as an actor, it's an absolute gift to play. Of course, looming large in all of this is Thomas Forrester. Hope's romantic entanglement with him, and their messy split, has been one of the most polarizing arcs in recent years. With Steffy's return, Thomas's loyalties are once again under scrutiny. Thomas is always going to be in the mix, Noelle acknowledges. His love for Hope hasn't disappeared, and his bond with his sister is unbreakable. That's where it gets dangerous, because if Thomas feels pulled in two directions, he could implode. And when Thomas implodes, the fallout is never small. Will Thomas choose family over love? Will he back Steffy's power plays at Forrester, or will his heart betray him into aligning with Hope? That's the million-dollar question, Noelle says, coyly refusing to answer, but letting a sly smile do all the talking. Behind the scenes, however, there's nothing but love between the two actresses. Jackie and I always joke that our on-screen rivalry is the heartbeat of the show, Noelle says warmly. We'll go head-to-head in a scene, really tearing into each other, and then the moment they yell, "cut," we're hugging, laughing, and comparing dog pictures. She's such a powerhouse. Honestly, working with her pushes me to be better, because if you're opposite Jackie, you'd better bring your A-game. That mutual respect is part of why the rivalry works so well. The audience can feel when actors are really engaged, Noelle adds. We both want to deliver, and we both know these characters inside out. So when Steffy and Hope collide, you're seeing years of history, layers of emotion, and two actresses who genuinely love sparring in the best possible way. While personal drama will always fuel the bold and the beautiful, the Forrester fashion house itself remains a battlefield. Hope for the future has long been her pride and joy, but Steffy has her eyes on the company's future, and her definition of that future might not include Hope's designs. Fashion wars are coming, Noelle confirms. Hope has worked so hard to carve out her identity, not just as a Logan, but as a designer with a vision. Steffy sees things differently. She's ruthless when it comes to protecting the Forrester name. That clash is going to bleed into boardrooms, into family dinners, into personal lives. It's not just about clothes, it's about power. So where does Hope go from here? Noelle says the character is standing at a crossroads. Hope has always wanted to be the peacemaker, but I think she's starting to realize that peace isn't always possible. Sometimes you have to fight, and that's the space she's stepping into. We're going to see her claws come out in ways fans may not expect. Does that mean Hope could cross lines she's never crossed before? Let's just say nothing is off the table, Noelle hints. Hope is in a position where she feels she has to protect herself, her line, and her children. If that means playing dirtier than she's comfortable with, well, she may not have a choice. Before wrapping, Noelle takes a moment to address the fans directly. The Bold and the Beautiful has the most passionate audience, she says with genuine gratitude. I hear from people every day who have watched for decades, who know Hope and Steffy's history better than anyone. You keep us going. So my message is this: buckle up. Because the ride that's coming is going to test every bond, every rivalry, and every assumption you've ever had about these characters. It's going to be a wild fall. As Jacqueline McInnes Wood's Steffy returns to the canvas, the tectonic plates of the Bold and the Beautiful are shifting once again. Hope's fragile sense of independence, her evolving connections, and her vision for Forrester Creations will all be challenged by the unstoppable force that is Steffy Forrester. And if Annika Noelle's teasing words are any indication, fans can expect more twists and turns than even the most seasoned viewers can predict. One thing is certain: the rivalry that has defined a generation is about to enter a bold new chapter. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Bold and Beautiful Update YouTube channel for more update news.